I don't know who you're talking to. It was Penny. She was fluffing. She was fluffing, and I forgot my microphone. How are you going to do this without a microphone? I don't know. See? Penny was a little nervous. She had wanted to get a little cute. She's like, you're going to tell me who my baby daddy is, and then you're going to talk about some crazy stuff from a crazy case? Okay. Y'all ready? Who's your daddy? What's your daddy? Do we know? What did you guys say? What was the total poll results? So, real quick dog stuff before we get to the court stuff. We are trying to figure out if I got what I paid for, because I bought a Cavapoo. And is she really a Cavapoo? So, there it is. Where's the poll? What'd the poll say? Okay, so 22% of you think she's really a Cavapoo. 46% think she's a mini golden doodle. And 32% think she's something else. You ready to see who your daddy is? You ready? Hold on. Hold on. Oh. Where are you going? 77% miniature poodle. 77% poodle. They're 22% cat, King Charles, Cavalier King Charles, and 1% Bichon Friche. Oh, you're a mutt. I gotta send you back. You're a mutt. Crazy cat lady would send you back. She'd get you fixed and send you back. You're a mutt. We can't have mutts. She's like, can I have my bone now? Like, I really could care less about this. Can I have my bone? Leave me alone. Go talk about somebody else. This was kind of cool. I didn't know anything about this. We saw it in the Crazy Cat Lady video where they had this done. So I did it just for fun. This is not a promo or anything else, but they told me exactly what she was, and they'll give you all kinds of information about the breeds. But then look at this. Her parents are a toy poodle and a Cavapoo. Grandparents poodles, grandparent poodle, Cavapoo. Poodle, poodle, and then it shows you all the way back to where everything's mixed in. It's pretty neat. All right. Anyways, woo.
That doesn't surprise me about our girl.
Fun stuff. I got a mutt. Love mutts. I love my mutt. She's amazing. So.
She is amazing.
You want to know what the big info is. And we've been working on this for a few days. And we're trying to figure out what...
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. All opinions expressed in this stream are mine and Tiff's. Mine and Tiff's alone. We are basing our opinions off of known facts gleaned from public records, publicly available information, and we are trying to determine the overall circumstances involved. In doing so, we are going to have a discussion, and there may be some hypotheticals used. None of this should be taken as fact. It should be taken only for entertainment purposes. Yada, yada. Not trying to make anybody look bad. I'm just trying to present the facts. So, she's a Cavapoodle. Oh, I'm trying to click on the wrong screen. That's cute. I know where that is. That's where Laura keeps her horses. Some of them.
Yep.
Anyways, that was just for fun. So, I was kind of curious where the money's coming from, right? Mm-hmm. Because lawyers are really expensive. Really, really expensive.
They can be. I don't know that we answered that question yet, to be honest. Even with everything we've discovered.
Keep my name out your mouth. Sorry.
I said I have an umbrella policy, so I'm good. At least for $1 million. We'll see.
And I got nothing for you to take, so let's go.
I'm not that.
Yeah, I got nothing. So we have been researching, well, mostly Tiff has kind of, we're doing it at the same time. We were kind of duplicating efforts. We got to streamline our stuff. Property. Because property is usually, if you own a house, property is usually your biggest asset. And it's also the biggest thing you can leverage to get money. But does she?
Right.
And we don't know a whole lot about her dad. So Tiff's going to give us a little background because we went on a little crazy dive the other night and found some cool stuff.
Yeah, for real. So the thing that's been bothering me about this case the whole time is how much can a San Francisco radio DJ host, syndicated or otherwise, really make, right? He's not Howard Stern or any of the other, guys who definitely make some bank. He's just a regular AM, by the way, AM radio host. And yeah, he's popular. And that career spanned 42 years, which is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, the man was good at what he does, apparently. So he, I believe, for the majority of his career, just made regular DJ money, right? Probably a little more than an average person makes, but nothing obnoxiously high. The articles about his income start to come out in 1995, where he had a $300,000 deal. He leveraged a $300,000 deal. And then so he got a little smarter about his negotiation tactics, I think. And as we get into 2009, there are sites that report it was 1.25 million, which again, we need to remember is in the San Francisco Bay Area. So it's not, okay, sorry, he's not a DJ. I get that. He's a radio host. Correct. Again, he's also not Howard Stern, right? So, he started to make a lot more money over the years, but
before he started making a lot more money, he actually held out on contract negotiations, which is what I was trying to pull up, which doesn't want to work for me today. He protested basically, like, I'm not doing this until you give me more money. And it lasted almost a month. So a middle of the road talker used his ratings and success in his salary fight with KGO. He's been off the air for 3.5 weeks. He's seeking a new contract with a fat pay raise. And it talks about how he's competing against Rush Limbaugh and things like that. And I guess the station didn't have the money to give him a pay raise. The pay raise he wanted, at least. So what happened instead of that was he became syndicated. And
there's something about mattresses.
I can't find the folder I put them in to show you.
There's something about mattresses too. Apparently he did some commercials for a mattress company. So that was definitely factored in.
He wrote articles for the newspaper.
I think he was definitely a worker bee, right? He was a hustler. He had his hands in a lot of stuff. Yep. I do believe that, and I don't think that's
this is the 1976 San Francisco Examiner, and that was right about when he started, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this says that he's one of the top 5 talk show hosts in the country at that time in 1976.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, popular
So,
for sure. Popular. And again, I'm not even saying I think these, increases in pay were well deserved from what it sounds like. I think the station was making money off of having him there for sure. Unfortunately, times changed drastically in the 2000s, right? Radio.
yeah, because this is 97 when we got the expansion. So he went from San Francisco, he expanded into LA, and all that audience. And that expansion is what really boosted him from one station to the syndication. That's so
Mm-hmm.
97 was the spike when they hit it big, right?
Yep. And that's important in a minute. 97 is important. 97, 98. So anyway, like I said,
I graduated high school.
As we go into my second child in 97, but that's fine. Also, real quick, before I forget to say it, I brought the popcorn for this, and I've got the Dr. Pepper. So
do you know what I need? I need like custom Meg's Crime Watch. Let's watch popcorn bowls.
Snack bowls. Agreed.
Okay, I bet I could make those.
Real quick, going back to, like I said, there were a few years at least that it looks like he was making $1 million or more for sure. Later in his career, obviously. It was 2016. A lot of shakeups happened at the station and new owners came in. They got rid of a bunch of people. He stayed on for a little while longer, but it looks like because he was not one to talk about his salary, so a lot of the information isn't super easy to find, but they definitely started cutting his pay over time to the point where it wasn't worth it for him to stay anymore. And I don't know if it had anything to do with his progression or not, but radio, especially AM radio, is just not what it used to be, right? Even in the 90s, it was, bigger deal than it is in the 2000s. So we see a sudden burst of income and a little bit of a plateau and then a cliff dive, I think. So I don't know if there was a lot of time in that plateau period to actually do smart saving and smart financial decisions for future planning based on what we found. You're on mute.
Good. Censors didn't catch that. If you look at people who, instantly get a huge raise, or more so lottery winners, things like that, when you come into a lot of money, lots of people get overwhelmed by it and they don't have the resources to plan it out and to manage it. And your spending exceeds that because you're doing it in your head and you're not able to really forecast how it's going to go. So you overspend yourself easily. Mm-hmm. And we all know the San Francisco area, is just skyrocketed with everything since the 90s.
Right. You have to think of San Francisco numbers in terms of it's, your relative numbers are probably 50 to 75% of whatever theirs are, as far as, income and housing and everything else. It's extremely expensive. So what sounds like a lot of money isn't necessarily a lot of money.
Well, and that might actually be a reason where we don't know anything about the reasoning. We're just showing you what the data shows, trends.
Yeah.
So
because I don't have any proof of that. It's all all conjecture. But yeah. So we'll start in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me make sure that's the right tab before I switch over.
Are you going to pull it up or you want me to?
Yeah, I will. But I just wanted to make sure that when I do, I click on the right tab. Oh, how do I actually do it? Present?
Mm-hmm.
Share screen. I know. I don't have both monitors. Calm down. Hopefully I pick the right one. We'll see. Share.
I say go for it. You only live once.
Okay.
Yes, Roxy, come on.
Can we see this? Can we see this? Or no?
What?
Which one? Are we looking at it or no? I can't see.
It's on the screen.
It is. Okay, good.
Can you zoom in? It's pretty small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that better?
There you go. Yep.
That's about as good as I get. So, okay. So, as I said, why isn't it? Hold on. 1998, we see them purchase the San Francisco house for 1.395, and they take out a balloon mortgage and an equity line. Very common. We did a lot of those. Called them piggyback loans back in the day, so that you could still avoid MIP. That's how they used to get around it. They probably had.
You want to explain that real quick? That's mortgage insurance if you don't put down a down payment of a certain amount of money. Is that correct?
Yeah. Good. Thank you. So typically to avoid MIP, which is mortgage insurance, and it's just a premium on top of your regular mortgage payment, you have to put down 80%. And then, so what they did a lot of 20%. Times back in, yeah, you have to put down 20%. Sorry, your mortgage can only be loan to value 80%. What they did a lot of the times back then was they would give second mortgages, home equity lines, to make up the difference, and you would draw on it immediately. So you'd still have that. You just save a little bit of money, basically.
But it would also prevent you from having to put a 20% down payment down.
Yes.
For people who didn't have the money. Like now they have a lot of programs for first-time home buyers, things like that. Back then they didn't really have that. You just got a second mortgage.
They literally had these second mortgages that they bundled and sold to people to put them in houses they couldn't afford. And that's how we ended up in the real estate bubble. But that's a different story for a different day. So we see that they purchased it, and they do some pretty standard refinances over the next several years, where they probably are getting a better interest rate over time. And especially in this time frame, from 01 to 03. We used to see people, I mean, no joke, every 6 months they were refinancing to get a lower rate during this time frame until things started to go sideways in the market. And you saw a little bit different type of financing. However, when we start to get into they took out some equity lines too, which, I mean, that's a lot of money to take out as an equity line. So typically when you buy your house and you take out a mortgage, you should just stick with the plan, right? Refinances can get you in trouble because they take away that equity that you're earning, right, over time. So anyway,
and the whole point is you're either trying to earn equity to sell the house, refinance, and buy another house, to upgrade, use that equity to upgrade, or you're just trying to pay the house off by the time you retire, if you're going to stay there.
Yep.
One of those two things.
Yeah. That should be your financial plan, 100%.
In either case, you want the mortgage to go down.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. You don't want to keep borrowing as you, and it's a tempting position to be in as your house becomes more valuable, and you may want to have cash here and there. It's tempting to start taking out some equity out of it, but that just bites you in the end.
I get emails almost 2 or 3 times a week from, you have equity in your house for 10% loan. But when you take that equity out, you have to completely refinance, correct?
Yes. I want to comment on this real quick. Oh my God, I lost it. Never mind.
I know, it keeps jumping.
Yeah, here it is. There we go. Real quick. So just so you guys know, this is absolutely free public information. Yeah, we dove, for sure. We dove, but we used free resources that are available to anybody that is looking and is aware of how to do it.
And it
So-
has no correlation to the letter I got. We were already, this is
Yep.
what we do on everything. Like,
It is.
this is
We
life.
live in the rabbit hole. We live in the rabbit hole,
This
right?
And this is Tiff's kind of world. So she's helping me out with it. Because
Yeah.
Florida real estate is so much different than everything else. So
Well,
basically
and
what you're
so-
saying, I'm sorry,
No,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
they bought the house. They lived in it a few years. Everything was going good. He got a raise and the market, you know, skyrocketed like it does. And they're like, oh, we have equity in the house. So we refinanced. And the difference between what we owed and what the new amount is, we're going to take that in cash, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's exactly
And
what
so-
they did.
They're doing that how often?
I mean, it starts out, you know, every couple of years. There's a gap here between 05 and 12, and I can promise you that's probably because that's during the foreclosure boom, and
Mhm.
the value probably wasn't there. That's my guess. The
They-
value just wasn't there.
They weren't writing risky loans either.
Mm-mm.
I mean, these
No.
aren't your conventional, let's go down to, you know, Bank of America and get a mortgage on your house loan, correct?
Well, the earlier ones kind of are, but as we get into 2018 and 19, no, they're not. The early ones are. They were jumbo loans, so you know they have some different terms to them, I'm sure, but they were with banks. What we see starting in 2018 into 19 is and this, you know, starts off in the San Fran house, and we'll get into the Arizona one, where we're seeing a jump in how much money we're taking out. We're taking out 150,000 or 850. We're taking out another second mortgage for 1.3, and that ends up hurting them when they go to sell for 3.5, because again, 3.5 sounds like a lot of money to sell your house for. However, when you have it completely leveraged,
Do you want me to put that?
you're walking away
up?
with, yeah.
So basically, this is what we figured out. Of
And
course,
this
you're
isn't
making
considering
payments
sales.
during that time, but not a lot because they had just refinanced, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Nope, that's fine. So, you know, when you look at the face value of the mortgages that were on the house and the sale of the home, and factoring conservatively that expenses and commission were, you know, around 20% of the sale, then we're walking away with less than 300,000. You know, I mean, best case scenario, we're walking away with 500-600, but I still don't see how. It's not a lot of equity earned over
Oops,
20 plus
that was the wrong
years.
screen.
Over 20 years. So
In 20 years, you would expect to have a decent amount of equity, correct?
absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You would. What I will also note.
So it is
That is-
it's adorable house,
Mhm.
and the views are amazing.
San
Beautiful,
Francisco
beautiful house.
For sure. How can it not be in San Francisco, right? I mean, it's gorgeous.
But the prices, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But for 20 years,
Because,
so
again,
they
it's
bought it
not-
at $950 and they sold it for $3.
That one was, sorry, they bought that one at 1.3,
Okay.
almost 1.4 million. Yeah, the other one was, but still, you know,
You bought
over
it at
2 million.
1.3 and you sold it at 3. So you should have at least 1.5 million walking away
Mm-hmm.
from that. If you invested smartly, you would have more than that.
Yeah.
And what happened with them is they did not invest wisely and they kept taking a little bit off the top, so they didn't have that lump sum to put towards another house. And
Yep.
the reason that's important is because it's kind of exemplary of a lifestyle where some people live in the moment. And this is my moment. I'm going to spend it. I'm going to do what I want. And I'm going to have the best life I can have right now because I might get hit by a bus tomorrow. Other people are like, I got to be prepared for the future. I don't want to live in a cardboard box when I'm old. I don't want to be in a nursing home. I'm going to save and plan.
Yeah.
So those people usually have reserves and resources. So when you have like a legal issue, you can dip into that pot to pay your attorneys.
And I will say, because it's important, it is not uncommon to see wealthy people carry mortgages on their homes. It's actually an investment strategy that financial advisors sell at Merrill and other investment firms. They sell that as an investment strategy. It's cheaper to pull all of that equity out of your home, put a mortgage on it, not all of it, pull some equity out of your home as with a mortgage, invest that money, and you can deduct the interest you're paying on your mortgage while you're earning interest on your investment, right? So I saw people who were very, very wealthy. I worked in a very wealthy area of Metro Detroit, and they took out mortgages frequently for the sake Merrill Lynch told them to, and that's how they invested their money. So it's not.
But when they did the mortgage, did they max out the value of their house?
Okay. No, they did not max out the value of their house. They also didn't take out subprime lender mortgages, right? And very unconventional private lender mortgages. Those are not the decisions of that a financial advisor would tell you to do. They're desperate. They're desperation decisions.
I was trying to figure this out, and I went down the weirdest rabbit hole that I'll tell you about when Tiff's done.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah,
and there's a dead guy.
Yeah, and there's a dead guy. Yeah. So then, if we look at, they walked away with about 298. Yep, they walked away with about 298. So then let's switch to. I think I have to do it again. Hold on. Do I end it this way? Yeah. Let me go represent the other page. Hold on. Matter of fact, yeah. Hold on. Give me a second. Present.
No, what kind of issues? Maybe I can help.
I'm trying to. This is still the wrong window. Hold on. How do I switch it? Bear with me, guys.
Yeah. That comment is what got me digging. It was weird. Okay, I'll tell you about it after. I'll shut up.
Oh, stop screen? Is that how I do it? Yeah. Okay, now I got to change it. Sorry. I'm new to this. Meg's way more professional than me.
What are you trying to do? You got it?
I'm trying to switch the screen because I have them in two different tabs, and I don't think I did it. I'm going to have to close the one that I'm not doing, so let's do this again. Sorry.
Share it, and I'll add it to the screen so you can talk about it.
Well, I can't. If I do it now, I can. Now I'm not confused. Now I've got it, right?
Okay, I'll add it to the screen. Ready?
Oh, then you got it. Yep. Thank you. Okay. So we're remembering that
zoom in again.
Walked away with around. Oh,
can you zoom?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. If I can. Oops. Let's go back up here. There we are. Right? No. Bear with me. Why is this? Hold on. I'm on the San Francisco one again.
No,
guys,
you're not.
I'm so sorry. Hold on.
No, you're good. You're 2003, 2005. Isn't that 1920? Oh, no, you are on San Francisco again.
No, I am on the San Fran. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. I need to take that off the screen for a second so I can switch. So I'm going to stop that. Sorry. I got to actually just do it a whole different.
So my dog's a mutt.
I'm going to do it.
How was your day? What did y'all do this morning?
Can't believe I'm an idiot. Hold on.
While she's doing this, where's everybody from? I'm curious. Tell me your state. What's your state? I gotta figure out who I'm gonna come visit because it's getting hot. And I don't know if I can survive another Florida summer.
You're gonna come visit me.
Florida. Nope. Deb, sorry, you're out. Michigan,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah, you totally missed baby daddy. She got 3 daddies.
Okay, share screen. Boom, boom. Share. And we're going to. Can you add that one now to the? I'm going to zoom.
Yes, ma'am. Ooh, North Carolina's nice. Canada, that sounds good. Can I just go live on the North Pole? I'm so tired of being hot. Oh, yeah.
It's hot. Yeah.
That would be
it's hot.
fun.
Ooh.
I could never afford the plane ticket there.
Cannot get distracted by that. That sounds like a good one. Okay. So.
Okay, here's where it gets wacky.
Right.
Right?
So we moved to Arizona after selling the San Francisco house. And we buy that for $950,000. We borrow $850,000. And we also take out a credit line for $100,000 difference, right? And
so basically they finance the entire purchase price of the home, correct?
Yeah, correct. That's basically it. Yep. And then in 22, so I don't know how much everybody knows about real estate, so real quick, and I won't make it boring, but the real estate market has kind of gone, it's just exploded in the last 3-4 years, right? So I'm sure that, the value of that Arizona house has done the same thing as the trends, and the equity has increased. So of course they started borrowing against it, and they took out a $1.5 million. It says commercial loan. It's really just an unconventional hard money loan. It likely has obnoxious terms and a high interest rate. So
what kind of interest rates are we talking, since like conventional interest rates were up to 7-8% for a while?
That's true. I mean, this was 22, so I mean, well over 10% most likely.
On how much was that one?
1.5. That's the
that's a lot of interest.
That's a lot of interest. It's a very high payment. It looked, when I looked at it,
all right, I'm going to see what that payment would be while you're doing that.
Yeah, it looked like a desperation, like this is something that you would get in the very short term so that you could cover some immediate emergency expenses. Let's pay attention to the date.
Was it 30-year?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe they all were. Besides maybe one of the equities was a 20, but still.
That payment would be $13,000, over $13,000 a month.
Yeah.
And that's not counting your insurance, your property taxes, and all that stuff. This is just straight mortgage payment. It's going to be $13,000 a month on that loan. Yeah.
It was most likely taken to for very short-term reasons, and because they needed quick money fast. And I think it is important to note that is around October 2022. So,
what was going on in October 2022 in their lives?
I believe that was Gigi's lawsuit was taking place during that time period.
I had my timeline up and then I clicked off. So
yeah.
If you think about it, the expert charges $500 an hour for one expert.
Mm-hmm.
Lawyers charge $250 to $500 an hour, depending on where they are, how much they think they're worth. That adds up quick when you consider the number of hours that had to have been put. Look at the volume of material, the volume of filings, everything we've been through, the motions after motion after motions.
After motion, motion.
You're paying your attorney to sit there and think about it, talk to you about it, talk to his paralegal about it, write it up, review it, and then he's got to go post it online and blog about it. I mean, that's a lot of freaking time.
Yeah, and that lands us into 2023, where it seems to get a little worse. We've now added additional relatives to the property and taken out mortgages with them, which I'm trying to be careful on the
getting a lot of loans, even though you're paying them off, probably isn't great for your credit. Is that correct?
Correct. It is not. It is
you want long-term
payment history, right? I mean, the algorithm is dumb, period. Like, our score dropped 50 points when we paid off our mortgage. That's dumb to me, right? But I mean, whatever. Just the algorithm isn't always indicative. You can, but
this middle name,
when you start maximizing your debt, right? You're maxing this out. This is not what a financial planner would tell you to do, and definitely not in the format that it's being done. I mean, one thing, red flag right off the bat, that tells me that these people are not wealthy, in the terms that they've been portrayed to be, in my opinion, is there doesn't appear to be any property owned by a trust. Like, you put everything in a trust when you have wealth. You put it in a trust to protect it. Mm-hmm. There's no trust. There's a lot of LLCs, but
and there isn't any other property owned, is there? For those two, it's just this property.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. Yeah, they just have this one, and they sold the San Francisco one. So we get into 2023 in May of 23, and we see, after additional family members were added, and immediately new mortgages are taken out.
Now,
and
May of 23 is when everything happened.
It is exactly when everything happened. It's very interesting. And I mean, I know that the case was still going on with Greg, right? So that was probably also a factor. Then we look into, hold on, actually, sorry. I'm going to talk about that in 1 second, real quick. But
before you go any further, thank you so much. I live in autistic shell neurodiversity.
Oh.
Support it. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, the north tip of Tornado Alley. And next week we're all driving. Oh, Galveston. Ooh. Winnipeg's the top 5 coldest cities in the world. I did not know that. And our summers, you might like an average of the 80s. I like an average of like 70s, like 70 degrees. I'd be happy if I was just 70 degrees year round. I keep my house at 70 and I don't leave it. Like, I'm perfectly happy here. I might come visit, though. Fun fact, nice. I've only seen snow one time in my life. One time. Once. Niagara Falls, New York. For a funeral, unfortunately. But
so I see a lot of...
Thank you so much, Kay. You're awesome.
Oh my gosh, wow. That is awesome.
More members, more pop prints.
I see a lot of people in Michigan in the chat, and so everybody knows, last winter I sent Meg a photo of the Kohl's parking lot with all of the dirty, nasty snow piled up in the middle, and I'm like, this is real winter. Like this.
I've only been to Detroit once, and that's what I saw, just piles everywhere, but there was no actual snow, just dirty piles. It was so gross, and the whole city smelled. I was like, I'm never going back to Detroit.
I don't know how to pronounce that, Breen or Ryan. That is true. Again,
Yes.
I don't know if you heard that part. They do. That's exactly what financial advisors will advise their clients to do. What they won't advise them to do is take out hard money loans at high interest rates and scary terms. So
Can you define hard money?
hard money is like it's weird. It literally means it's hard to find, and it's lent by investors who charge you more for it. They charge you more for borrowing it, and you give up some of the freedoms that that's not the word, rights that you would normally have in a conventional mortgage, right? Hard money lenders have different escalation options that traditional loans don't. There you go. I like that definition.
I am going to very soon.
I didn't do a great job of defining it, but it's a subprime.
So it is not subprime. Like it's a more risky, like a adjustable rate, maybe.
Yeah. So I said subprime, but that's actually not accurate. It's even more risky than subprime. It is. I'm talking
it's something we lay people would. Subprime makes us think, oh, that's a really risky mortgage. It's not your normal mortgage. That's so many of those is what caused the market crash, right?
Yes. And so for example, if a hard money loan, the best equivalent I can compare it to is a payday loan, right?
Okay.
We're going to charge you a lot to give you a little bit of money. And if you don't give it to us, we're going to take it. And we're going to charge you even more when we take it.
So it's generally for people who don't have other options.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense that, I mean, if their scores were fine, they wouldn't have had to go this route, right? They would have just gone to a bank. A lot of wealthy people who need money just go to their bank and get it. It's very easy for them. But these are unconventional lenders, private money
lenders. I think it's one step below a loan shark. They can't break your kneecaps if you don't pay, but they can like take a lot of stuff away from you.
Yeah. It's a legal version of it, basically. It's bad news. And they typically have like short terms to them, even though they say like 30-year mortgage, it'll have a short, like a balloon almost, where if you don't pay it in a certain period of time, the rate goes up or other terms that are.
I might have an example of that.
Not great.
I just want to say thank you again for the support. I really sincerely appreciate you. Like, all of my Laura streams have been demonetized, so the only money I'm making from them is whatever I get in super chats. So I sincerely appreciate you. It's been a rough month.
It has been.
I didn't know it took this long to get over surgery.
Yeah, only Meg would take that long to get over surgery, right?
I swear I have like a curse. I need voodoo priestess that can that covers everything. Like all the possible curses to just cleanse me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah.
In Canada, it's next to impossible to get cash
out of your bank. Yeah, I mean, maybe. We're not talking about Canada, so I don't know.
I had a coughing fit as soon as I came out of the anesthesia.
Ugh.
That was horrendous.
Not good. Okay, so let's go back.
No, I need to.
We've got those loans taken out in 2023, and then a year later, because the train is still chugging, right? We've got another new loan for $1.6 million. And what's not on this report, but what I did find in the free public search results, was another home equity line that was taken out in, I think it was May 6th or 7th, May 3rd of this year for $199,300. So we're leveraged out already in Arizona, with no end in sight, really, if we keep borrowing at this rate. it's concerning. I think
Thank you
that-
so much, Janet. Thank
Yes.
you, sincerely. Yes, I do. My moderator's running my stream for me. So I have to go figure out where they're at. And I'll post the link in a second.
I was gonna say I think I know where it's at, but I'm trying to talk at the same time. So
Thank you so much.
Oops. I don't know.
Oh, that one. Remember the one?
Yeah. The article.
The grandfather. What's the first name? His father had a different
It was Lowenstein, right?
Mhm.
But I can't remember the first name. now.
I got it.
While she's doing that, real quick, I only find one. I find one property, and considering the pattern, I don't see how there are more.
I don't remember exactly what it was.
It wasn't George, was it? No, that's
Thank you so much, Broken Body Club. MS is no joke, man. I learned something. Oh, off topic for just a second. So autoimmune diseases are, everybody seems to have an autoimmune disease now. Like 10, 15 years ago, you never even heard about it. But what I learned is that once you have one autoimmune disease, you can develop symptoms from other ones. Like I have MS. I don't have RA. Tiff has RA. But I have RA symptoms, but just in my hands. And it's because they're so closely linked that as soon as your immune system gets screwed up, you can have components from different diseases. It's not textbook, you have this disease, these are going to be your symptoms. You just have this whole array of pick and choose, what your body's going to do when it goes haywire. So there's nothing they can do about it. It is what it is. It's not going away. Treat the symptoms the best you can, but it kind of helps to explain why, okay, I'm having this weird, my hands were going numb. And then my finger, the tip of my finger, my middle finger only would turn white. How bizarre is that? Like I'm looking at my hands going, what the hell?
That's called a thing. That's a thing.
It is. I'm like, I know it is, but the tip of my middle finger was white. Rest of my hands would get blood red and go completely numb. It's called Raynaud's syndrome. And it's just this random thing. It's happened like 3 times. So
you sent me the article with
yes, that was.
And I can't see where.
That was the other thing. That's kind of what got me thinking about this. We were looking this up, and let me see if I can pull this up without pulling up too much information. I know I took screenshots of it.
Well,
the signatures. Do you have the signatures?
Oh yeah. Not on here though. Hold on. Where do I have? Oh yeah, I have them, but I have them on my camera roll.
Okay.
But he had progression recently, but he had also been living with it for like a decade before he even announced it.
So he has Parkinson's. For anybody not familiar with Parkinson's, it is a nasty disease. And it causes shaking. Isn't that one of the main things is the shaking?
Mm-hmm.
And so writing would be incredibly difficult.
Yes.
So I was looking for something, and I came across the power of attorney that he gave his wife so that she could facilitate the real estate transactions that they were doing when they were buying the home or refinancing the home and adding the daughter to it. And that was in 2023. There was a lot of stuff needed to be signed. So he gave his wife permission for that specific purpose. Oh, thanks, Jay. I already blinked and forgot what I was doing. But on the most recent ones, oh. All right, you explain it. Let me pull it up. I can't do both.
Okay,
I'm broken.
that's fine.
The
Pull it up,
signature.
Yeah. You pull it up and I'll. So, what? Sorry. What do you want me to
No,
say?
talk.
Oh,
Talk for a minute.
sorry. Ron's signature changes over time, which you would expect in a situation where he's dealing with, a disease. What you wouldn't expect is that it goes back to what it was. So you see a signature pattern right over time. Sorry.
No, keep going.
And it looks a certain way, and then it changes suddenly. But then maybe a year later, when you see it again, it looks like it did 2 years ago, not last year. In my industry, that's a red flag.
So when I'm looking at that, that looks like someone who has some difficulty writing.
Yep.
Am I? I know my signature, my handwriting has changed drastically since MS and all the other things. I'm losing sensation in my hands. I'm losing fine motor skills. I can't write neat. I never wrote neat. I got F's in handwriting in first grade. Never got any better. But
yeah,
it's a lot worse. And you notice older people often have that, kind of shaky. And that's exactly what it is. He's diagnosed with that, and it's well known.
He had it for a very long time before he announced it. He had it for 12 years, I want to say, before he announced having it, and that was in 2012 or 14. I can't exactly remember. However, he did say that he had very slow progression, and he also did some brain stem, or what is it called, where they
stem
put
cell?
the probes in.
The
electro
deep brain stimulation.
That's it. Yes, he had that done to slow any current progression down. He did that recently, like I was saying, within the last 5 years. So, so this looks like somebody who's experiencing difficulty, right? And you see,
my window's like labeled, so I know which one I'm sharing.
That's what my issue was. Up, yeah, and over. This one bothers me because it's very different. And I'm not saying that in a layperson's analysis. I analyze documents for a living. I am not a handwriting expert. I am not a signature reading expert, but I've been doing this for 31 years. And I can tell, even if you sign your name differently and you tell me, oh, I do it this way sometimes and that way and other times, there are certain things that don't change. My signature never looks the same when I sign. But there are certain things that don't change in patterns, and you may not even recognize them, but I do. And that signature concerns me because we see changes in slants, which is typically not affected by Parkinson's, in my opinion. And we don't even see an attempt to write out the entire name. It is very different.
Was there another one, or was it just these two?
I thought there was another one, but the most of them look like the top one. Most of them look like the top one. That bottom signature it stands out very much. So that's why it was concerning to me. I also have concerns about one of the other signatures on that, actually two of the other signatures on that document. I don't know if you want to get into it, but I even the notary is concerning to me. But anyway.
No, go ahead. Which one?
The notary is that Franz. If you look at the F and Franz on the 2022 mortgage, I want to say.
That's 2023. That's 2022.
How did I send those to you? Did I send them in?
These are both 23.
But I sent you the photos. How did I send them?
This one?
Is that Franz? I can't see. No, go down a page. There's one. No, hold on. I'm going to look real quick. I'm going to tell you exactly which. Did I email that to you? Is that what I did? When I sent that, was it an email? When I sent that whole block.
No, you texted me.
Signatures.
Or I think you texted
me. Hold on.
Okay, I'll look that up. You explain what what you found in it, and I'll find that.
Okay, so again, my opinion, not an expert, just somebody who's been doing this for a very long time. Sarah's signature to me looks like not Sarah's signature. It's the 23 document, I want to say. And on top of that, the notary who they used before and after for Sarah's signature. The one document where her signature looks off to me, the notary's signature is extremely different. Extremely different. I want to say, hold on, where'd it go? I do know I sent it. Give me 1 second, guys. I know I have it right here. Hold on. Here we go.
Where did you send that to me at?
I really thought it was an email.
Yeah, it's not in there, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Discord. This is what happens when you have too many methods of communication. It's like Discord. There's too many tabs open. There's too many places to talk. Not only do you have different servers, but then you have different rooms in the servers, and I got to figure out which room I'm supposed to post in because this topic goes with this room, and I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. Just give me one place that I can put stuff in.
Yep.
I didn't used to be like this. So what were your concerns? What did you notice? In your professional opinion, what stuck out to you?
The fact that Sarah's signature looked like an E at the beginning instead of an S. It looked like a so for people who haven't noticed or don't realize, Jan's name is Elizabeth. I don't even know where Jan came from because it's not even her middle name. It's probably her personality name because she was a radio host. So it looks like the E.
Jan Black is her name.
Yeah, her personality name, right? But her name is Elizabeth Naylor. Sarah's E or Sarah's S looks like an E to me on that one page. And the notary signature, again, I mean, this guy makes this curly Q F like you saw, remember that, like we used to make in elementary school, like a big fancy cursive F with loops on it. And there's one document that's not what his signature looks like at all. I am trained to question everything. So let's put that out there too. We're saying it's my opinion, but it's also my training. My training is to question anything that doesn't make sense until I can prove it does, right? The concern for me is that extreme difference in the notary signature. The notary signature looks
a notary signature shouldn't change. When you're a notary, you're told you need to learn how to sign your name the exact same way every time, because not only can you lose your certification, like you can face legal charges. It's serious.
Yep. It's like they have to get insurance. And what definitely doesn't happen is you don't see a notary sign one way, then a completely different way, and then go back to signing the way they signed the first time. Right? Like, you got it? Did you find it?
It's on my phone. It's like way back. It's like I've done stuff since then. It's not there anymore.
I literally thought, oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
This is it. It's like information overload with this case. Usually I can break a case down and I can give you guys every single part of it, which, oh my gosh, I have an amazing case for you. It's so messed up.
When I first got my notary, I had my full name, and it's a long name. And I got married shortly after, which my name didn't change except for one letter, my last name. But I changed it immediately to just my first initial when I had to redo my notary, because I was not about signing my full name every time I notarized something. Because I worked for a settlement. I notarized a lot of
my
stuff.
name was hyphenated. And they put my middle name in.
No, thank you. That's insane.
Like I need another sheet of paper to sign all this. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the different one. This is the one. Oh, I guess it was a 24 mortgage. I thought it was a 23. We see Fran's signing like that, right? And we see Sarah's S.
And you need the other.
Looks like a E to me. Yeah. And then I need
Okay,
the other
hold on.
one.
I got to do it different. I got to share my.
Okay.
I got to share my whole screen, not just that tab. I'm figuring it out, y'all. Figuring it out.
I put this up here, Wendy. Yeah, so, and that's the other thing. There was one document, I think it was that one even, where he didn't do the things notaries do. Like, I don't know. It came off odd to me. If I was analyzing it for a file, I would have questioned it.
Okay, and then this is number 2.
That's exactly what I'm thinking on that.
Right?
24, the one we just looked at. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
It looks like it. Yeah, that's the 24.
It's not sharing my whole screen.
Oh. Do I have to take mine off?
Entire screen. Nope. I just have to know what I'm doing.
That's
there you go. How's that?
Okay, so let's look at Fran's right there. This is how he signed.
Anonymous. I heard Tug read your email the other day. It had me dying laughing.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
I don't have time to listen very often, and I just happened to catch that. It was good. Okay, I'm going to mute.
No, you're fine. So we're looking at Fran's over here on the outside of the screen. And that is how that man, I'm assuming man, doesn't matter, person, notarizes their name every time. No. Mom did not have at least not recorded. She might have had one, but this is not how you would handle it, even if she did. So no. You'll see actually on that one on the right-hand side where Mom is power of attorney for Ron, and she signs it as a power of attorney. So it's very concerning to me that Fran's signature completely changes.
Yeah, that's not even close.
It's not close. The slants, the F's, and again, that curly Q F, like that old style capital cursive F, that is exactly how it is on other documents that are, a couple of years apart. And then all of a sudden It's yeah. And again, this Sarah's, it looks different to me. I question it. That's all. If I were analyzing it for work, I would call it into question.
Which
And,
one would you question, the left or the right?
I would question the left. The one, well, I say left, my left. So the one in the middle between us, between our pictures and the outside picture.
Now, I think the one over on the right looks more scribbled, like
the notary.
No, all of them, all the signatures.
Yeah. The signatures are definitely they're a lot of people sign like that, like with whatever lazy or flair, whatever you want to call it. They don't realize that.
But usually not on documents that are going to be
you should have
filed with the court.
Well, what people don't realize is, when you're notarizing something, you are looking supposedly at the person's identification, which would have their signature on it. So it should match. Matter of fact, when I went in to vote early, my signature on my ballot form didn't match my driver's license, because when I renewed my driver's license, my hands were hurting that day and I lazied it. And so I had to actually re-sign my name in a like a more lazy way, because I didn't spell my whole name out like you should. Because let's be honest, if we look at Christian's signature here, very easy to copy, replicate, wouldn't have a problem at all. And yeah, absolutely, your signatures look different. Again, it's patterns that don't change. It's
the notary is in New York, though, on both of them.
The notary signature would not change. It just wouldn't change that drastically. That is not the same person, I'm telling you. Like, unless he had something that happened to him, but it seems unlikely. You don't forget that your name starts with an S versus an E when you're signing over time. Yeah, it's the notary that red flagged this for me. The difference, because if there is another document with his signature on it, and it looks identical to the one on the outside of the screen, the one from 23, and even the way he wrote New York and Queens, it's different. So
online, there's no telling. Amazon.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said.
So tell me, if you saw this come across your desk in a normal work day, what's the procedure after that? Like, what do you do with it?
All I have to do on my end for what I do for a living is call it out, and on our list of instructions as a title company, what we put out for people to cure, so to speak, before we will issue a policy is, that we need to validate the signature. So it would require us having that person come in and speak to us, or having communication, verified communication with that person, and verifying that they did in fact sign and or notarize that document that day. We actually recently had a case in Michigan. It's an ongoing case, but where somebody took a notary's information and stole it, basically, to forge a bunch of deeds. So the notaries are typically, especially settlement notaries, are typically pretty cautious and careful in documenting what they sign and witness. So they are required to keep logbooks and such. So if they were ever called into question, they should be able to go back to their logbook and read, and we'd be able to verify, like I said. And if we had this, we've had this situation, right, where there's people who have become ill and their signature changes because of that, or their right hand doesn't work anymore, so they sign with their left, and it's different, absolutely, and that's okay. And people who are legally blind, they sign with an X. That's very difficult. But for us to review and examine, but we just have to make sure that we do extra steps to verify the information that we're seeing in front of us. So this is like a, what do you call it? Side note, even. I don't even want to make that big of a deal about it. I know that people are like, well, can we ask? Can we do that? This and that. It doesn't matter, to be honest. The real concern is seeing how money is being, I should say, assets are being depleted very rapidly from people who are in their later stage of life and definitely have some challenges ahead of them that will most likely include financial depletion. So you don't typically see people in this stage of life that are making this. This is a good question, and I don't know. I have seen one.
Wait, I know about this. What's the question? Sorry, I was trying to set up the pup cam. I realized I haven't done the pup cam in so long.
If it's
because everything has been chaotic, and I've seen 2 or 3 other channels that are doing it now.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
Channels.
Yep, I've seen it too. Yeah, I mean, I have recently seen one case of blatant elder abuse that was scary to me, but I don't know how hard it is to prove.
Is that the forging the documents?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've seen this come up a couple of times, and maybe Wendy's the same one asking. It's not a reverse loan. No, these aren't reverse loans that we're seeing. Those have very specific indicators, and I would have noticed them when I was researching the documents. They're not reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages are very similar to equity mortgages, but that's not what these are. Thank God, that's not what these are. Is Ari? Oh yeah, look at my girl.
I couldn't remember her name. I'm like, it's been into my head, and I was trying to remember to tell you.
She was a rescue, and her name, they had her named Aria, and it was like, and it was just it didn't flow. Like, it just didn't flow very well. So we immediately, even during foster, we'd cut it short. And
how do you scream that?
Right. Aria.
That's too many syllables to scream.
Like it just didn't flow off. And I already had trouble with words, so we just immediately changed.
Before you name a baby or an animal, you have to scream their name as loud as you can at least 3 or 4 times.
And you have to, like, especially a baby, you have to introduce yourself. Hello, my name is James Jones, right? Like, how is it going to sound when you're introducing yourself? Do you have to spell it out? James with an E, like, there's lots of reasons. But yeah.
There's so many things that people screw up in naming babies. We won't even go there. Okay.
So were you asking, is it hard to prove that it's not a reverse mortgage? Is that what I think you're saying it's hard to prove the elder abuse. Yeah. That's why most states have reporting agencies for it. And you can also do it to the FBI if you didn't know that. But I think that
this is kind of the summary of what we're getting at with everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you look at the second property, current state of things, you buy something for just under $1 million, take out additional mortgages as the value increases, which, everybody's seen the market go up. So at this point in time, the mortgages, and granted, it's not quite that because payments and everything else, numbers aren't exact. It's right about 1.8. But the estimate of the property is 1.4.
And Zillow tends to be estimated on the higher end. Yeah, so Zillow's not always accurate. I don't see it often where it's underestimated on Zillow.
No.
But yeah, it's
So that's a deficit of 300,000 right here. Like if everything came due today, they would need 300,000 more to get even. And God forbid the market crashes again. You know, everybody, that's what happened to everybody. Was it 2008?
Yep.
And on is they had these risky mortgages.
Even people who had normal mortgages in that time frame.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I will say for people who don't know, we were a victim of it, and it killed me. We had a normal mortgage, and we couldn't afford it, and it was bad. And you know, it sucked. So it happened to so many people because they yeah, see, this is the thing. This is where I think this is why I wanted to, because we talked about whether or not we would talk about this, right? And this is why I did want to talk about it, because I think that there are assumptions being made based on rumors and theories that aren't, I mean, okay, so we've established there is a difficulty that she has with honesty, right? So do you believe somebody who they are earning that from their dad when every single other thing that comes out is not true? I don't think so. I think that serial and habitual liars lie about good and bad things. They just do. And I think
they lie for no reason. Sometimes there's no benefit to the lie. It just becomes a way of life, right?
Becomes part of their story, and they just keep going. It just keeps going. And,
hold on, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I think one of the main reasons is lots of people keep saying daddy's paying for this, daddy's, you know, bankrolling you. And daddy doesn't have, you know, it's not how it's Scrooge McDuck diving in the gold coins. You know, there's not a vault with tons of money there that.
Yeah, see, the mortgage history. So the other pattern, other than I see the constant withdrawing of equity is, and you can borrow negative equity against your house. That is another way that a lot of people lost their houses back in the early 2000s. But these are patterns that I see on foreclosure files, because I do foreclosure research as well. And you will see an escalation of equity being withdrawn, and then it goes really sideways when you run out of options. Literally, they will run out of options if they don't start making some seriously different financial moves in the very near future. I mean, we don't know that they're not doing that. You know, they might be doing that to stay afloat. I don't know. Again, theory. I have no evidence of it. I just can see what's on publicly available property record information that I know how to analyze for my job, and I see patterns that are scary.
We're not saying that's not true. I think we're just saying that it's might cause more of a hardship than was being considered.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like she's Paris Hilton and there's, you know, endless supply. I couldn't really think of a good example.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good.
There's an endless cash flow. There's an endless cash flow that we, you know, no big deal. We have liquid cash. We can pay for it. You know, go ahead, whatever you want.
I mean, look at was it the Chrisleys? The Chrisleys. That's who I'm thinking of. The people from they were from that show. It was a reality show.
Oh, the building show.
Yeah, but their family, it was a family thing, and like they were leveraged to the gills, but they had beautiful homes and cars, and there wasn't any money, and it was bad for them. So this is when you see these, don't just assume big house equals money. I mean, I have more assets than what we just added up here, really. So, oh, and real quick, can we go back to the Airbnb thing? Somebody did ask way earlier in the stream, and I don't mind answering.
What do you need me to do?
I'm nothing. I'm just going to talk about it.
Okay.
She advertises an Airbnb.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's owned in an LLC. Yeah, I think that too. Agreed. It's owned by an LLC that is her and mom are members of, and they purchased the Airbnb on a contract, a seller financed contract, which is also not something that you would do financially if you had money and options and wealth, because it's not cheap. So, sorry, I should stop reading chat. So, yes, she technically does own an Airbnb, and she may be making some money off of it. Payments on that thing are there, again, public information. They're not cheap. But if you're making money, maybe it works. I still, like, what surprises me is the lack of a trust, that they have not set up a trust to put their assets in. When you are this heavily involved in litigation in almost every aspect of your life, if you are wealthy, you have a trust. You put everything you own into a trust. The problem is, I don't think there's a lot that's actually straight up owned. But even people who have mortgages, the properties can be in a trust. You can get a mortgage and sign in your trust, and still keep, the protection of the trust. But that's not happening here. There are moves that are being made that aren't indicative.
And that's, for example, if, say, Clayton was to turn around and sue for defamation, then he could go after her assets. But she doesn't own the house. So if it was her parents that he was suing for defamation, hypothetically, generally your main house is not, well, just homestead everywhere.
It depends on the state. There's very rare circumstances where you could actually sue somebody and get a judgment that would take their property from them, their primary residence, especially. You might be able to take other assets. It depends on the state, though. The state is the one that makes the laws on that. Like in Michigan, you can't do that. You can't foreclose a property based on a judgment. Federal government can, right, and the state can, but not individuals who sue and get judgments. They can put a lien against a property you own, which is why you would put it in an LLC, right?
So that it's untouchable.
Yeah, so you would still buy it, and with your own money, and not sell or finance it, right? You would buy it with your own money, and you'd put it into an LLC or a trust. Typically, people, they go a step further. They make a trust, and they make the LLC the member of the trust. So you're like 3 times removed from liability. But that's not happening here, and that is interesting. Yeah, that I almost clicked on the same exact message. Yep,
that's kind of what got this going, is that it's just this preconceived notion that there is a lot of wealth behind this lawsuit, and there's not. There, unless her attorney decides to work for free, which is entirely possible. There's going to be an end to it, that they're going to run out of money. This isn't going to keep going. And if you consider the fact that this has happened 3 times, and how many hours and hours and hours have gone into this case, it seems like a significant amount of their resources have been spent on this when they didn't have those resources to spend. They're leveraging everything they have, and they've gone over that limit by $300,000 to help her.
And
if that's true, what kind of situation does that put us in?
Right. At the end of the day, to what end? This is not a payday. Most lawsuits aren't a payday, first of all. Like, this isn't a payday for her. Even if she wins, she is not getting $1 million check. That's not happening. And I say win. I don't even know how she wins other than a dismissal, right? Like, I whatever. But regardless, you know, there was mention of her being judgment proof. I'm pretty sure Clayton probably is too, right? The kid doesn't make a lot of money, I'm sure. And if he does, he's reinvesting it to make more. Like, that's what you do at that age. You know, you're not gathering assets. So I don't know
exactly.
To what end. Yeah.
I think it's a bully situation, in my opinion. That's how I see it. It's. And so I had another attorney do this to me, and I still got that stuff. I'm going to run the screen, but
maybe there's a hero complex happening, right? And the parents feel good by saving the day. Maybe there's something they're getting out of it. You know, whether or not that's right. Maybe that's the case. You know, I don't know. But
it kind of makes that make more sense, because if you're in the negative, what can I do to recoup? You're looking for anything and everything, and any hole that I have, who can I get money from to make up for what I've lost?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that you deserve it. It's not that I injured you in any way. You're just desperate for money. So yeah, let's throw some BS lawsuits out across everybody because they're famous. They might have money. Because you know, if you get 100 views on YouTube, you're a superstar.
That's the thing.
I apologize for the mint in my mouth.
No, I get it because your mouth hurts. It's I think people have a very, very serious misunderstanding of wealth anyway. But you know, because you don't see wealthy people making these moves, you don't see them spend. Wealthy people don't spend their money on frivolous litigation. Wealthy people are wealthy because they save their money. I mean, oh wow, literally same thing. Yep. Wealthy people do not spend their money on frivolous, vexatious litigation. They just don't. That's how they have money, right? They pay attorneys to settle and move on when they actually get into a lawsuit that they must go through.
And you don't want to. You want to avoid that.
They really do, because nobody wants that curtain pulled back when you have assets that, you know, nobody wants to find out that you're that settles and pays out. And no. That's, I just, yeah.
The thing is you always have an unknown in the settlement. Oh, crap. Hold on.
What?
Is that better?
You went out. What happened?
She was asking if I had a 3D printer going.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
I had my fan going and I forgot to turn it off. I always turn it off because it's loud. It was background noise.
This right here.
Hold on. They asked if she could be criminally charged. I lost that one.
Oh, yeah.
Or can she be put in jail? And the laws are different in every state. Generally, we don't have a debtor's prison where, you know, you don't pay, you go to jail. That usually doesn't happen. But there are certain circumstances where you can have penalties. And I mean, it happened recently, and I can't remember what case it was.
I only know of like tax evasion, federal stuff. I don't.
Yeah. I think that's.
I mean, we watch court TV all day long. Who really goes to jail anymore? I'm so disheartened.
You always have a question of something funky happening when you go to court.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we watched that case last night where this should have been just a normal hearing, and all of a sudden, revenge porn? Like, where did this come from? Like, out of nowhere. This can go sideways.
I've watched that video so many times, and I scream at the TV every time. I get so angry. Like, and so, it was a money market, but still, I don't. First of all, it's common to use that when you are submitting purchase documents if you're paying cash, but I don't believe it's a valid document in any way, shape, or form.
She likes arts and crafts a lot.
If you have that much money, why are you buying on seller financing from some company in New Jersey? I mean, I don't see it. I don't see why it doesn't make financial sense. You make your money.
Can you explain that a little more? Like why that?
Because seller financing is, I mean, that's even below hard money loans, right? As far as options that you want to dive into. Typically seller financing is very, first of all, you don't even actually have an ownership in the property, right? You just have a promise that they will give you the property after you're done paying. It is typically just below usury rates. And I think that's at 25% right now. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it's extremely high interest rates. And so you own a property without the benefits that you would get necessarily for owning a property. It's what a lot of investors, like when they start out, they do, because they don't have any money to actually do the investing in real estate. So there's classes that will teach you. We have a couple of realtors in Michigan who run them. But they will teach you how to do seller financing and get your first one under your belt, and you wait basically for time and equity to build, and you sell it, and then you slowly gain that cash to start doing having a stockpile of properties. You don't typically go all out on a very expensive property right out the gate. And especially not if you already have the cash on hand available. It doesn't make any sense. You just get a mortgage.
And it's usually not your domicile, right?
Right. If you wanted to not get a mortgage when you bought it, you pay cash and you get a mortgage 6 months later. But you don't do seller financing. If you can avoid it.
You end up paying so much in interest. It's like you're throwing the money away.
And then you're like still responsible for like property taxes and stuff typically. So it's a weird way to buy. And oh yeah, I was gonna click that too. Typically, we're a year into it, just about. So we'll see what her plan is. But I don't. If I had that money in my money market, I would have just spent my money market money and done a mortgage later, because money markets aren't super high interest, so it's not like you're losing a bunch.
Somebody asked about the attorneys. Are you done with that? Before I change topic?
Yep.
So the Justice for Clayton website has the attorneys. She started with Allison Cordova, who works at the Pratchett Law Firm, which is a friend of their family. And she represented her in the Uber lawsuit. And we can look at that someday, not today. Alicia Jusen Cook in the MM case. Jason Vendetti in the construction case. These names. Zachary Mushkatel.
I'm looking something up real quick.
In Gigi's case, she withdrew as her attorney with client consent 6 days later. 6 days, wow. And then it was Carrie Ramos again in the Gigi claim case. And then she filed a bar complaint against Ramos. She likes bar complaints. Oh my gosh. Everything complaints. And she filed a complaint against Clayton with the real estate board because she had said, put in offers on these 2 houses. And he didn't do it because he didn't believe she had the money. He saw that sheet with the 400,000, and I believe I heard him say in one of the interviews that he wasn't confident that she actually had those funds. So he didn't proceed. Not proceeding is... Are you posting as me? Tiff, you're muted.
Sorry. I told you I was worried that would happen.
Yeah, you can't post in StreamYard. You have to open up YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I said what I said. Hopefully the person.
And when you do, you have to change the little toggle. I know. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't say that. Why am I in the comment section? Like, don't mess with my head like that. You know I'm easily confused.
I'll verbally say it one more time, and then I'm done with it. Oh, hello. There's me. Yeah, and investing, pulling out your equity and using it as an investment strategy is absolutely something people do. They do not take out hard money, high interest loans and maximize their equity to a negative point when they're doing that type of investing. It is just not how it's done. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so Bonnie was the first attorney on the Echard case, and that was, she filed it pro se, and then I believe she sent a cease and desist and then refused to assist her anymore, according to Greg Woodnick. So then Joshua Lopez stepped in, and that's who we saw in these past 2 videos. Three videos. We have one more to watch. And then someone named John Bourne got involved in her lawsuit against Dave Neal. Whoever this is. Oh, I think this is the Fiverr one. Or no. I don't know. Represented her in her case against Neal in California. Then Alexis Lindvall represented her from December 22nd, 2023 to January 2nd, 2024. And she submitted a motion to dismiss the petition to establish paternity as Owens was not now pregnant. Then she withdrew a few days later and now has a bar complaint against her. Then Corey Keith stepped in and he represented her for February and March. And then he withdrew. And now David Gingras has stepped in. David Gingras is an attorney out of Arizona. I'm not going to go any further into that right now. I learned a decent little bit researching the other night. Yay! Thanks, Jay. So, basically, oh, did you want to look at the lawsuit?
The contractor one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, real quick though, somebody did ask, and I'm going to correct myself on something, if you don't mind. The seller financing agreement, it actually has a not bad interest rate in the beginning, 5.5. It's a very high payment. It's a very high payment. And here's another thing about seller financing, and we can Zillow it, I guess, to figure it out. They'll also charge you more than the property is actually worth when they do those loans. Yeah.
How exactly do they do that?
I mean, they can. You can sell a house for whatever you want to sell it for.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's willing to pay it. And as long as it's getting an appraisal, and a seller finance wouldn't.
Oh, it's over market value.
That's what I believe. Yeah, probably. Again.
Okay. No, I get it. I was just trying to understand what you're saying.
It's a 5-year. Looks like a 5-year agreement. So plus taxes on this payment, which is not cheap. But anyway, that's it. I was wrong about the interest. They are typically at usury or just under, but
well, if you're paying more on the principal as opposed to paying more on the interest, you're still paying more.
Right.
I mean, any way you look at it.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like I said, that's typically how it's, you know, if they're not getting you one way, they're getting you another. There's not traditionally a benefit to doing a seller financing agreement. Okay, now the lawsuit. Sorry.
There is so much information. It takes forever to find what you're looking for because it's just pages and pages and files and files. Like I have a whole drive full.
I got lost in it. I know. I was
just, I'm like, I just want this one file. Where's it at? I can't find it. That's all I want. Where's the... There it is. No?
Real quick. So there's this new thing in the real estate market, at least in Michigan, maybe not happening other places. I imagine it is though, where buyers, because the market is so demanding right now, that buyers are coming to the table with a higher offer than value, and they call it an appraisal clause. So buyers will pay the difference, typically cash out of their pocket, in the appraisal cost versus the sale cost, just to get the house that they want to get.
But that has to be paid in cash, correct? Like,
yeah, so they have to
finance.
Right. So basically, your down payment goes up. You pay it out of pocket. So you still only borrow on the appraised value, right? So if you're putting 20% down, you're still only borrowing 80% of the appraised value. You're just coming out of pocket for the difference. That's actually, like I said, it's a very common thing happening in Michigan, in my area right now. It's not unheard of. I lost.
So this is what I thought was interesting. This is the contractor lawsuit, which I don't even know why I opened it. Oh, you asked me about a settlement.
Yeah.
And so I opened it and I was looking for it. And the first thing I saw was they do not run a commercial business. Okay. The plaintiffs in this case hired the defendant, which was a contractor, to work on their existing horse facilities at their home in Scottsdale, Arizona. The plaintiffs do not run a commercial business. Do not run a commercial business, nor do not engage in the practice of boarding, training, or lessons from the public. They only house their own animals on the property. They're looking for a contractor to remodel the facilities on the property. So, I was like,
what does that even mean? Ow.
I stopped at commercial business because the rest of that is just like word salad, gobbledygook.
But it's not true, right? Like,
it's not true. That is blatantly not true. They own a commercial business. Like you just said, they do not have a commercial business. They have a commercial business.
There you go.
Oh, sorry. You had that up. I was trying to get to... I have stuff in so many different places.
Yeah, I think that explains it. It's like... yeah.
So first, I was like, okay, what's classified as a commercial business? It means any business that engages in the sale, lease or exchange of goods, services, property, or any other thing of value. Okay. Well, they have a business.
Yeah.
Started in 2014. The interesting thing is they did not change the name. Oh, that's got the address on it. I gotta take that out. They did not change the name until 2022. And the corporation or the LLC is in California. And they have not got a foreign, they haven't filed for a foreign corporation in Arizona. So everything is in California. But they only have one property.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have a business. They may not be operating it the way that it stands for. I mean, the way that they're, sorry. The way that they're looking for, but you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so I don't know if, I mean, I don't know. It's there's too much to unpack, right? Like,
Yeah.
can we not just
So-
find one legitimate piece of information that connects with something we've been told or read anywhere?
I was kind of curious. Do they have like a separate farm that the horses go on? Like, do they keep them on a separate property? So I was just trying to look to see if that was
They're going to the,
there's none in Arizona. If that was something that they could do. So I looked up the corporation, and before it had her current home address in Arizona, it had her address in San Francisco. Home address. So that corporation, the address of that corporation was her home address. But prior to that, it had an attorney's address. And it's a name I had never seen before. But I looked it up because, you know, that's just what I do. And he died last year. Now, the only connection is 2 addresses ago. Thank you so much. On the corporate filings, his business was the address used. I don't know what the connection is beyond that. However,
who's he? The attorney?
The attorney.
Okay.
This was too good not to share. So residents are panicked in the hunt for a killer. So they believed that, oops, what am I doing? I hate this when it shares your whole everything. They believed that there was, let me rephrase that. People were hiking along a trail and they found a man's body. He had a head wound. When they looked at that head wound, they believed that it was from a high-powered ballistic weapon. So everybody freaked out. Oh my gosh, there's a sniper, there's something, they're shooting people in the woods. He was, you know, in a trail. Then they do further investigation and they figure out that a horse killed him.
Yeah, I think the hospital staff thought it was a, is that what you read too? The hospital staff thought it was a gunshot wound. And that's how the story came out initially. And it caused a huge panic.
Residents in Marin County's San Geronimo Valley took to social media in a flurry of panic on Friday night after the sheriff's office vaguely announced an incident was launched in what appeared to be a manhunt in a forested area near their homes. As aircraft circled their homes in the woods on Friday night, residents complained on social media that they were forced to turn to social network Nextdoor to try and find out what was happening due to the lack of information from the sheriff's office. Yeah. Deputies tweeted out an alert to avoid the area, but didn't tell them what was going on. It was announced an 82-year-old man was found suffering from a head wound after a fall near Wild Iris and Sir Francis Drake Boulevard. Initially, medical staff at Marin said the man sustained what appeared to be a gunshot wound. They closed the road for several hours, everything else. After finding the man and realizing his head wound was significant, the people took him to the hospital. And then they retracted and they said, this is a blunt force trauma injury potentially caused by a kick from a horse, which was on scene on the fire road he was hiking on when they arrived. He was a very popular attorney. And I believe that he owned several radio stations, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
This is him.
I didn't.
He went to University of Michigan.
Yeah, I read that.
I'm not sure, but.
And we don't know where the horse went. Like.
No, and then nothing. Dead silence.
Yep. Which happens so much on news stories anymore. It's like, oh, the clickbait, but then nothing. We don't know who the horse is, where he came from, where he went afterwards. Nothing.
How bizarre, though.
It is, and it's a horrible. I mean, like, really think about it. That's a horrible accident to have, right? Ugh. I don't know.
That's why it creeped me out. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the radio station thing.
It's just really.
I thought I screenshotted it. So much stuff. I also have another case. Somebody sent me a case that it was just some guy freaking out at his sentencing hearing. I think a couple other channels showed it. And everybody got into a big to-do. Well, this case has crazy backstory. The mom has been arrested. The kids have been taken away. Yeah. It's going to take me a couple days to put it together, but it's unreal. And we thought it was just here's a funny little sentencing hearing. Nope. What's his name?
Shelly Babes, I tried doing that when I took a shower yesterday and ended up like dropping my phone in the shower when I went to like hit pause, and my phone's waterproof, but still it was not a fun time. Yeah, I can't multitask.
I have a shelf in my shower.
Yeah,
I have one right on the shelf. It has a little bar.
I have one next to it, like literally right as you open the thing. So I thought I had it under control, but I didn't.
Oh, I've texted with you while I was in the shower.
Oh yeah, no, I don't care.
Here it is. I'm sure this is the same guy. I hate this share screen. I gotta get a different thing. Okay, I'll check it in just 1 second. So.
Oh yeah, that's the same guy.
KWUN? And it's an older story, but it's talking about how he's Richard Hellsberg, who looks like, is talking outside the radio station he bought for $1 million.
Yeah.
And this is the same guy because it says he's an attorney who's never practiced. He went to law school in Michigan.
Oh.
KWUN 1480.
I mean, it makes
So-
sense. They would all run in the same circles that they would. you
Yeah,
know.
he was probably a family friend. And
Yeah.
how? But the horse connection really got me.
Yeah, that's horrible way to go. And a very ironic way to go in the grand scheme of things. Really. Thanks. It just happened last
Yeah.
year, right? Last June.
2023, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I just was getting really sick of not sick of. I was getting suspicious of the narrative about money because again, I've known from my work, I've known very wealthy people and they do not spend money on attorneys doing this kind of thing for them. They spend money on attorneys preparing trusts and avoiding court at all costs, right? They don't even support their children doing that. Like, you just don't do that. You spend time staying out of court, and it's sad. I mean, like I said, I have more.
Well, I think what you've looked up, the history that you found kind of supported your thoughts that something wasn't exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
With the story. Yeah. It wasn't right with the story. It's like they just keep digging a hole that is not going to be easy to get out of.
So if you're living above your means, even if it's just slightly, and you're refinancing every so often,
mm-hmm.
you're going to hit a wall eventually.
Right. Number one, because
when you die, it's just it'll be a wash.
We are not seeing refinances that are, so if you're just doing it to get a better rate or, readjust your payment structure or whatever, you would see the amount being taken out would go down, right? So you start out with $100,000 mortgage when you buy your house, let's say, and after 10 years, rates are better. Okay, great, I'm going to refinance. I only need to borrow $90,000 or $80,000 10 years later, right? I don't have to borrow more money. Oops, sorry about that. I don't have to borrow more money. And unfortunately, when you see those types of refinance patterns, it's people who find out their house has some equity in it that since the last time they refied, and they refi and pull it out. They refi and pull it out. They pull out that cash. Some of it it costs money to refinance. There are expenses involved. It's costing money.
Neither of those. Well, the TEDx doesn't pay. I actually looked it up. If you want to do a TED Talk, you basically do a presentation and submit it. And TEDx talks are local. I thought TEDx meant it was on the internet. TEDx means it's local. You can pull up a map. I pulled up a map and there's like 5 within half an hour of me coming up. Hey, Brad. So it's not like this super rare thing. There are a lot of opportunities. You just have to get approved. And yeah. And what it said, I read one of the how do you do a TED Talk or whatever. And the websites that are telling you how to get it said, be prepared to be rejected quite a few times, and you have to be tenacious in your handling of it and keep reapplying the same thing over and over again. I was like, there we go.
I mean, it's the same. There was the additional part of that comment was the chicken soup entry. Again, it's not the wealth you think it is. It's they don't pay well on that. That's not a life. That's not like, oh, I wrote one, I'm good for life. You're just not. It's not how a lot of the world works, actually. But
if you think about it, like a lot of times they don't give you anything. And if they do give you something, it's like $1,000 or something,
Yeah.
silly.
It's superficial version of money. And again, it's for the intent of building off of it, right? And we build and we build and we build. The problem is she gets sidetracked and goes off the hill and takes everybody with her while she's falling. It is like I said, I was struggling hard with the dad and the money, I should say.
Well, I asked someone earlier, I'm like, when was the last time you seen in public? I mean, this isn't a what's his name? Musgrave? Miscavige?
Oh, yeah. Right?
Situation, is it?
Right? Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, in the general family dynamic, usually it's the father who controls the money, old school thinking and everything else. And then you see lots of, but it's one of the storyline plots, later in life he gets sick and, whoever else gets access to it and just goes wild. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It goes back further.
It absolutely goes back further. I think it was a status thing. I had a little clip of a interview he did, and I just have a comment from it. Hold on here. If my iPad.
By the way, Autistic Chill, I did get it. Your PayPal. Thank you so much. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. I sincerely appreciate the support more than I can express.
So this,
it really.
Sorry. I'll give him credit. Marty Nemco. I don't know why I said Carly. Marty Nemco did an interview with Ron, and I totally forget the date because I only took a screenshot. But he said, Marty, what's your philosophy of salary negotiation? Ron, I'm delighted the station makes money from what I do, and I want to be compensated for it. Marty, so it's a fairness issue for you. Ron, to be honest, and I'm a little embarrassed about it, it's also a bit of an ego thing. People often judge you in part on your income. I mean, people won't just say, Carly Fiorina screwed up and got fired. They'll say admiringly, and she got $22 million as a parting gift. So they switch topics after that. But I think that kind of it falls in with, if you think about him in his position, he's interviewing constantly very wealthy people and celebrities and such, and there's an image to upkeep in that world, in that circle, and I'm sure that was the intent of what to do with it, initially when he started getting that high paycheck.
You have to portray,
you got to put some back
that to fit in that world.
And that's really
he just didn't unfortunately have the resources to sustain it after the station cleaned house, and
because he didn't, it sounds like he didn't save any of it, or invest any of it. So I don't know, because I don't have the ability to do a deep financial dive. Maybe they have assets on assets and and investment accounts. Who knows?
And that's why we said this is totally spitballing, because
very weird.
We're just looking at the information we have, and that it's abnormal to see this.
It's a very weird moves to make if that's the case. If you actually do have it, it's very weird moves to make. This is the part of the stuff that's interesting to me. Why people do things that they do.
Yeah. And we'll never know.
No.
But using common sense and going the Occam's razor route. Yeah.
Available data.
With the information we had, everything was becoming more expensive, and they were trying to keep up.
What? When did he get
celebrities? We're trying to look at it at the same time. The man who started it all.
Yes, he did. Oh, that's funny.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mike.
I don't know. Tell Mike what we found out.
How do you summarize that?
There's no money.
Daddy's money bags are not as big as we thought.
I have all kinds of inappropriate ways to say that. No,
Mike started me,
yeah,
not this case. Me.
Dave started this case for sure. Dave is.
I wouldn't have a channel if it wasn't for Mike. Yes,
Yeah.
Dave absolutely started the case, but Mike started me. Don't tell
And-
anybody.
I wouldn't know or have been friends with Meg. That's how my brain works.
Yes, we wouldn't have met if it wasn't for Mike.
Yep.
We met Tiff in a Law Talk with Mike chat.
Yes. And
About a cat.
History.
And a lady that had to feed the cat. She was in jail and she couldn't.
Oh yeah, that lady. Oh my god.
And she was having a meltdown.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's about all I got.
Yeah. I want to find a way inappropriate way to say it, but like that's still PG enough for YouTube. Oh.
I knew it. I knew it. All those naughty adventures.
All right.
Get a little, spill a little, gets a little somewhere.
He hasn't been traveling. He's been in Arizona.
Hold on. I don't know. Mike, did you know I got a naughtygram? Sorry.
Oh,
The mint in my mouth. I just swallowed it.
yeah. I got a letter. Oh, email. Yeah.
Don't blame it on me. It'd probably be quicker to just take another screenshot than to try and actually find the one I took before. Excuse me for a moment.
Oh.
While I
no.
dive into my...
Yeah. Daddy's money bags are empty. Lost in transit.
I don't know. We are going to look at the MedChill document soon.
Oh, yeah, that 22,000 babies.
I don't know if I can get this on the screen.
The one doctor that held the record for babies was like 18 or 19,000, I think, and he was like he had been around for like 60 years. He'd been a doctor. It was crazy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Caddy. All right, just for anyone who hasn't heard it, just because. Meg. Sorry. I followed your playlist on Owens v. Echard with increasing concern. Your most recent video, titled Faking a Pregnancy is Easy When You Have Zoom Court, stands out for its particularly harmful assertions, as this title and the content are categorically untrue and damaging. I still can't. Okay. It's evident that these distortions are designed to boost views and monetization, but at a cost to the truth and my personal reputation. All right. Let's unpack that real quick, because I know we've done this already. That video is demonetized. And I think I got $1.99 super chat. I got nothing. Nothing from that. That was all funsies. And the title being untrue. Tiff, do you think it's easy to fake a pregnancy in Zoom court?
Absolutely.
I mean, that seems true to me, right?
Yeah.
Compared to regular court, I think that's a true statement.
I mean, even in regular court, but yes, especially in Zoom court, when you can.
Yeah,
stand
it's easy when you're in Zoom court. True
and
statement. So,
and camera angles, 100%.
so it's definitely a true statement. The implication that I exploited remote proceedings to fabricate a pregnancy is grossly inaccurate. I didn't say that. I said that it's easier. It's easier. It's a fact. I didn't accuse you of anything. Is that a guilty conscience? Is that what that's called when you defend yourself against something that you haven't even been accused of yet?
Yeah, deflection.
So it's like the underlying guilt seeping up. Although the hearing you show in that video was indeed via Zoom, I was physically present in the court the very next day with Clayton in clear view of him and others. This fact was completely overlooked in your coverage. Yes, because it was the next day, and I go in chronological order, and I ended at the end of court.
And you said To be continued.
Yeah, stay tuned for part
And
2, and then I showed part 2.
The title of the video was part 1, Dodo.
Am I supposed to do like one long running video that's like freaking 3 days long covering all this? Attached is an expert report from Dr. Mike Medchill, a respected obstetrician who has delivered over 22,000 babies. His report confirms my pregnancy and directly disputes the baseless claims you've aired. Hold on. 22,000
It's getting darker.
divided by, how old did we say he was?
I don't remember.
He didn't even work. He didn't even work in
No,
obstetrics for the majority of his career.
No, he was in.
It didn't start
research.
till later.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, again, the guy that held the record, he was in Chicago, and it was somewhere around 18 or 19,000. First of all, and he was like in his late 90s, and he had been in operation
Delivering babies since he was like a teenager, right?
He had 60 years. Yeah, like it's not possible, and especially, I mean, we're talking about Chicago versus I
was reading his CV, and he actually helped one of the facilities develop the laparoscopic I can't say it. Gallbladder removal, which is what it just had done, which was kind of weird and creepy. He helped develop that program to start doing it laparoscopically instead of cutting you all the way open for a couple years.
Because gallbladder surgery, I mean,
and that's gallbladder. That's not even gynecology obstetrics, a whole different field.
Yeah.
While you are free to voice your opinions, crossing into defamation under the pretense of discussion or commentary is unacceptable. The content you've produced strays far from responsible journalism and ventures into legal liability. I haven't said anything that is untrue, so that's not possible to cross into defamation. I have not tried to make you look bad. I have not tried to injure you. I have tried to present the facts as they are known in this case. And I am sorry that the evidence that has been logged by one side is stronger than the evidence logged by the other side. And I have an opinion on that, which I have expressed, but it is in no way venturing into defamation territory. I assure you, I am not saying anything untrue. I urge you to retract the false statements and delete the videos or correct the misinformation immediately. If these issues are not resolved promptly, be advised that my attorney is prepared to pursue legal action against all parties who have profited from these falsehoods. I didn't profit. Sorry.
Whose house are you putting up for that one?
Yeah, you want my house? Take it. You can have the mortgage too.
Who's going to finance that lawsuit? I want to know.
And that is the point. They keep threatening people with lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
And every word is my attorney, my attorney, my attorney. Oh. And I don't think they realize that they've crossed over into the LawTube community. Like, you're going to threaten Law Talk with Mike?
Right.
Like, he's going to destroy you.
Well, and I'm going to guess. I mean, like I said, I have an insurance policy. Like, well, go ahead. I mean, it's not a thing. Like, it's like,
but that's what she wants. She wants the payday because there's nothing left. Yeah. And you can't, just like you tried to fabricate a pregnancy to get the man you want, now you're going to fabricate defamation claims to get the money you want. Like, that's not how this works. Like, quit.
It's not, and it's a grifting lifestyle that has a very clear
pattern. So I did a deep dive into his background.
Oh boy, that's another one, right? We're gonna do that. You're gonna do that another day, maybe.
And I am appalled, and
I thought everybody knew.
Disgusted.
Yeah.
And
I thought everybody knew about that.
I can't believe some of the things I found.
Yeah, he's a nobody. He's a nobody. He's not even like, you have these attorneys like in Michigan, in my world, and Mike probably knows exactly. He'll probably laugh when I say,
Megan got one.
What was it called? Oh my God, now I freaking lost his name right out of my head.
Who? What? I don't know what you're talking about.
I was thinking of an attorney that's obnoxious in my area, and I totally lost his name.
Oh, well, let's not say his name on stream.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he's like one of those, like he wants to be one of those attorneys that's like in the news and obnoxious, and everybody kind of can't stand him, but he keeps getting his clients, what to win their cases, but he's just not level of skill he doesn't have. I don't think, based on what I've read. Who puts yikes in a motion?
Who quotes Fatal Attraction in a motion?
Right.
Like, it blows my mind.
The things that are written in that. I mean, again, thank you, Jay. I'll just put this up, and we are on the same page. Thank you. I literally say his name all the time because of different reasons, and I just skipped my brain right then. But yeah, we have an attorney. He is well known in our area for being that hound dog of an attorney. If you need a defense attorney, that's who you want. But that's because he's good too. Like, he's very good. He has a team. He has a team of people, not just a Twitter account and a blog.
He's not sitting in the backyard with his,
He makes media announcements.
Whatever,
right.
And
right.
Writing blog posts.
Yeah, these attorneys don't write blog posts. These attorneys don't, Twitter about, X, whatever. I don't even know what you call an X now, but they don't do that stuff. They write motions very well, and they show it up in court.
I don't think I've ever seen an attorney get actively involved in social media about an ongoing case.
No,
to where they're replying to people and arguing with people in text about an ongoing case. I don't feel like I've ever seen that. I
think that if this case had more media attention, that he wouldn't be doing that. I think. I
think he's trying to stir it up to get, I believe it's to gain media attention, because every time he makes a post, we report on it. And when we report on it, his name is getting out there. So before this case, he was a nobody. Now everybody knows his name.
Right.
Exactly. I think it's going to burst too. I think it just takes one person, and everybody is putting it out there so much. I think somebody's going to pick it up very soon, and it's going to blow. And
it might not be the grand garbage dumpster fire that we want to see. It may be more of a fizzle, but
I don't have my dumpster fire on here. I have a dumpster fire. Sorry. Well, at this point, there's not a lot left to.
No.
She's admitted she's not pregnant. They just have to settle the sanctions.
That's why I said at first I said win, but really I don't know what the win is. Oh, that's funny. It's funny because this right here, but also the sad lonely girl, number one, but it's like a copy pasta. If you look through the different cases and the text that they copy and attach to their filings, does she have the script written somewhere and she just copies and pastes? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's
she has macros.
right. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, I think
before the internet, it was your 15 minutes of fame on TV or whatever,
Well,
everybody wanted it. Now
you come from a family where there's media already implanted in it, right? They already have that culture in them for sure, but again, I just say over and over, wealthy people do not spend their money filing these lawsuits and arguing them out in court and paying dingus attorneys to argue for them. What wealthy person, truly deep pocket wealthy person hires that guy? I'm not buying it. I looked it up. I think I found it. It's not true.
Yeah, there's too many coincidences, weird stuff going on and all that. It's just,
when you have to take so many different turns and twists to fit your story into what you said it was and what you say it is, that's a problem. See, like, so in my job, what I do is I see something that's weird and I do everything I can to try to prove myself wrong. I want to prove that I was wrong when I looked at that and had an initial reaction, right? You can't do that here. You can't prove yourself wrong about her. I can't.
Yeah. I do. I always do that. Like, what can I do to...
I have no problem being wrong. Right.
I came into this like, there's no way. There's no way. It was Rogue Mama who sent me the link and said, you got to go look at this case. And I'm like, you can't get away with that.
Mm-mm.
But you really can. Like, you really can do all of these things, which is so much work for what?
Without consequences. Really.
Yeah.
What are the consequences? We'll see. I doubt there will be.
Hey, you can get that dumpster fire on a t-shirt over at megsmerch.com.
Yay. Lucky. I think it was
14 months? Have I really been doing this that long?
Yeah, and again, wealthy people have a firm on retainer. A good firm. A good
From
firm.
where? Like,
who's going to pay?
The goal of filing the paternity case was to get him to date her. Like,
that's what everyone is. Every one of them. If you stop, if you date me, I will stop this. If you date me, I won't file this. If you date me, I won't call the police.
Every single case, there's documented language that says, if you do this for me, and it's always date, there's never anything about money. Which is, it's bizarre to me. So it's what she's looking to get out of that is, yeah, it's extortion.
I don't even know if she knows at this point, right?
No, I think it's
too big for her to handle and understand.
You
think it's gotten too big for her to handle and understand?
Oh, it absolutely blew up way beyond what she can. I think there was a lot of, it's almost like an addiction. When you want something and you have some kind of MH issues going on and you get fixated on that thing, you're going to go to extraordinary lengths to obtain what you want. And I think that's what we're seeing. Could be wrong, but that's what it seems like, because there's a timeline that they put together over on Padlet. It should be linked. And if you go through and read it from start to finish, I mean, a lot of people have been following this from the beginning and they're reading it as it comes in, and it's kind of a piece here, a piece here, a piece there. But when you go through and read it in chronological order, you see the escalation. You know, it starts with, hey, did you put that offer in on my properties? No response. I need to know if you put that offer in. No response. You need to answer me. You know, do I need to call your boss? Do I need to file a complaint with the realtor board? That doesn't work. Then I'm pregnant. You know, like, 'cause what else do you have to tie? That's it. Those are the only two connections. Like, without those two things, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. You did an amazing job on it.
Sorry. We both
It's okay.
This is
You
why
did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's impressive. Truly impressive. Oh, good question. I don't think she's going to get as much as she thinks she is. Again, these stories, they don't make, she might make a little money. She's not going to live great for years.
I think if that happened, there would be lawsuits.
Yeah.
Because that would basically be her committing a crime.
That's why you put everything in a trust.
Yeah, committing, you know, what could be a crime. She's injuring someone else for her own benefit. And if she's doing it intentionally so that she can profit financially, that would be an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she'd open herself up. But she doesn't seem to care. I don't know.
Thanks for the support. Appreciate that.
That's nice. That's very nice.
Oh, I love you, but please don't wish me in the crosshairs. I don't want to be in the crosshairs. I just want to present to you how I perceive this.
This is the level, right?
They're going to say the court ordered it. She had to do it no matter what.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the commitment to it that she has, right?
That's what I'm saying. She is tenacious. This is going like.
Okay, so this is why you see these timeline patterns, right? So people will do this when you refinance or take out a loan. You, especially in these cases, you put some money in your pocket for a while, right? So if you're doing it to solve a financial problem, you temporarily solve that problem, because again, you've got some money in your pocket, right? What happens is that money runs out and you can't sustain yourself. So then you'll see another refinance for some more money. And when you see those patterns, like we saw when we showed them on the screen, it's going to go sideways hard and fast for somebody somewhere. They have been lucky finding, and I say lucky because lucky means you get to keep your house, but lucky by finding these lenders who do these hard money loans. But that will not last forever. You have to have a way to pay it back.
You have a source for that one?
Because
that contradicts everything we just talked
about. 2.5 hour stream that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we were wrong. Y'all have a good day.
Right.
Just forget about it. We're done. Just forget. Forget about it.
Days and days.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, is that she thought she'd get stuff sealed, and that's not how court works.
As you saw how hard she tried to get that sealed.
Mm-hmm.
She did not want that out there, but.
And I also think that's part of why it's gone. So it's gotten a lot more.
And I'm totally drinking a juice box. Don't judge me.
That's fine. I told my husband we'd be on for an hour.
We're done. We're wrapping up.
Yeah. They don't, okay. Yeah, I don't really, it's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Because we covered that. And
there's a difference between being loaded and appearing to be loaded.
Yes. There's a the appearance of and the actual.
There's a difference between surface wealth and deep.
I mean,
pocket wealth.
I say this all the time. You know, there are brand new houses down the street for us for sale. We could absolutely go buy one and be absolutely okay financially. I don't want
It's on
to
their property, their house.
live below my means. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I live below my means because I don't want to be in this position when I'm their age.
I really believe that's what happened. It got out of hand. It got out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that in a lot of cases. And that's why I think in the very first case, I highlighted some of those women who ended up in prison for committing, you know what, stabby to get the baby.
Yep.
Like they go and find a real one because they can't keep up the ruse anymore. You know, you run out of time. 10 months is it.
I hope that that's the one thing that comes out of this is that she does not get an opportunity to escalate into that, because if she suddenly had a baby one day, I think it'd be scrutinized quite clearly, and hopefully she doesn't get that in her head to do it, because I feel like it's the next escalation point.
Yes, and she is so out of touch with reality because she lived a very sheltered life, it seems. Like she doesn't understand what normal people experience on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's got a lot of time on her hands, and I don't know.
Yeah, I want to sit her down in front of some of these DV cases and be like, look.
Yeah.
Do you see those bruises? Like this is what the courts need to be dealing with, not hours and hours of arts and crafts time showcase.
Yeah, exactly. and I feel like I feel like this is one of the places where our legal system will fail us over and over again, is that we won't see. I don't think. Maybe. I don't know that we'll see justice.
It never happens in situations like this, and it's because it's still on the civil side. She hasn't crossed over far enough into the criminal side. There's so many bad things happening in the world. Nobody has time to deal with this petty stuff. They're like, yeah, she hurt you. Yeah, she hurt you too. Yeah, she hurt you too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she hurt you too. Sorry for all of you. Just deal with it. You know, we're busy. Like,
right. Yeah.
It shouldn't be happening, but it is because of the way the laws are written.
Yep.
So I think when this is over, we need to look up what states have those laws.
Yeah. There should be hopefully.
Yep.
Push. Yep.
You missed it all. And her 3 daddies.
Yeah.
We still have some. All right, ready?
Oh, yeah. I am not.
Kitty's a mutt.
I'm not surprised by number 1 at all. I'm sorry. 77.
So if she's being sold as a cavapoo,
mm-hmm.
If she's being sold as a cavapoo, you would generally believe that that would be a half and half, correct? Half poodle, half.
You would think.
I mean, unless, and then.
DNA works weird though, right?
No, it's the number of, the CM thing. It's how you do the genetic genealogy. It has to do, you can tell how distant relatives. There's one of her parents was a cavapoo already.
Okay.
So she's only got that little bit of the Charles Cavalier.
Yep.
Which is probably a good thing because they generally have a lot of health problems, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But would this be something that I would potentially have an action on if she was being sold as a cavapoo? Technically, she is a cavapoo, but she's not a full cavapoo. I didn't get enough cav. She owes me more cav. I need 20% more cav.
Did we watch a video about this somewhere?
I know.
I feel
Seems
like
like
we
there was
watched
there's a little feline
a
associated with it.
video about this somewhere. Okay, I am now starting
Okay.
to notice in this room, and it's getting darker.
Look, not
Yeah,
enough calf.
Okay.
No calf. She needs more
Yeah.
calf.
Mm.
We're done. Poor Zeke. I still think about Zeke. I almost drove to Alabama to get Zeke.
Oh, poor Zeke.
When she
He
said she was going to
just-
put him down, I was
He
going to go
was-
steal him out of the backyard.
If I lived with that lady, I'd be a jerk too. I mean, come on. No wonder he was a jerk.
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched that video was great.
Good. That was good. Oh, sorry.
See, it's perfect. Are you perfect? You perfectly need a haircut. You're a hot mess.
I still feel like there is a thumbnail or title or something somewhere that has to do with the deep pockets, and I don't know, like I feel like it's inappropriate. I'm trying to think of something to,
Yeah,
again,
it's not Scrooge McDuck, you know, the
those deep pockets have holes in them or something. I don't know.
just like she looks like a golden doodle. She's not really a golden doodle.
That's
You never know
100%.
how much is on the inside. All you see is the outside. That's what it is. That's the connection. I looked that up the other day, and nothing's happened yet.
Of
but-
course not.
She
Oh. God. Oh, it was a good one, Claude. Sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry if it gets demonetized. That's all my fault. Oh, yes, I'm sure it is. You know, Meg's got to be super rich. She's on YouTube.
In another world, in another universe,
Yeah.
like there is. It's good to be optimistic. It's good to be forceful. It's good to go hard. And I really respect that. Like, he really goes after it, but keep it reasonable. Keep it within, like, reality. When you go so far, I'm going to sue them for hundreds of millions. That's unrealistic. You know damn well none of us have that. And there's nobody behind us that could have that. Like, don't.
People stop listening. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not even.
Why are you even throwing numbers out there when you haven't even
It's
actually
losing its
prepared
weight.
for a case? Yeah. You haven't even prepared for a case. It's clickbait. That's all it is. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kayla.
Yeah, we're
Corgis
all...
are adorable.
Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to click off of that. God, I'm bad at this.
Mm.
Should have been here when you weren't here. Oh my God, it was worse. I find it ironic the way the attorney speaks. I find it ironic. That's all I'll say without being.
Who shot John?
Oh,
All right. I am going to go work on the messed up family where everybody freaks out at the sentencing for you. And then I'm going to work on timeline part 3. And I'm going to try and get those out to you tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday because
Messed Up Family. I am gonna text you. I think I have something on that. You probably have it too, but just in case.
I think majority of judges would not be as lenient as we saw in the prior cases. However, if a case is brought before you and it's not disputed as frivolous or anything else, you have to hear it. You can't just say, oh, this is bullshit and throw it out. Like, that's your job. You have to hear it. So,
and they have to give them the opportunity to let it play out so that it's not appealed. And like, you want to reduce the chances of appeal. As a judge, I think that's what they try to do as well. They want to limit the ability of each party to appeal any final decisions.
Which is what we saw in the Waugh case, the crazy "you separated me from my genitals" guy.
Yeah.
That was obviously like, but the judge was so patient with him. And he went on and on and on. And she was so patient and let him get everything out and then denied him. But she let him get everything out because he can't come back and say anything was wrong. She covered every base to make sure it was not appealable. And that's what so many of them are doing, especially, no, he's out of control. That is one of the strangest things.
That is one of the strangest things I've ever watched. Okay, I got to get off here.
Yep. All right, so I will, if I don't have something out tomorrow, I will have something out on Monday for you guys. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. And if Mellie's watching, happy birthday, girl.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Welcome. Thank you for the support. Thank you all for the support. Sincerely, I can't believe we hit 50,000. Like, I never expected this to get over like 500 at the most. I still can't believe this is what I'm doing for a job, but I love you all. I love the support. I love that we have a community that we can hang out in and not have drama and not have negativity and not have BS. So thank you for everything. Thank you, Big Tiff, for helping me do this. Thank you, Jay, for keeping it on point. Yeah, no, I don't know if I can handle that. I can't keep up with the comments as it is. But seriously, thank you, thank you, thank you. Me and my mutt are going to go take a nap now. Bye.